Welcome back to the channel, or if you're new, thank you for clicking. In today's video, I'm going to be doing an updated version of the digital triggers. Now these are the buttons, the L2 and R2, that only go down slightly. You can see there, if I show you a regular control pad, you'll see how far they go down. They go a lot more. And these ones are the tactile ones, so when I press them, you've got that lovely mouse click. Now I've done the video on that about 6 months ago and people are saying how are you getting on with them, and you know what, they're just the same as when I first got them. I must have pressed them tens of thousands of times and they're just the same as when I first got them. Now you might be wondering what you want them for. If you play Call of Duty and games like that, I'd highly recommend them. But if you're playing games like Gran Turismo, you'd be better off having two control pads, one with the digital triggers and one without. Now since I've done that video, there's two different versions of your control pads. There's a BDM-010 and a BDM-020. I did do a video showing you how you can tell the difference, but a lot's changed since then. We've found out a lot more, so I'm going to go a little bit more in depth. You can see this control pad, I've just gone out and bought it. It's the Nova Pink one. I did want the Galaxy Purple as well, but unfortunately they didn't have any in stock. So you can see there, that's still sealed. I haven't took that out yet. And the little buttons, they've still got the staples on, so I'm going to remove them. The only thing that you will need is a pair of tweezers, unless you've got really good grip, which I don't have. So if you bear with us a second, I'm going to tidy everything up, take these out and just set everything up. There we have it. I've took everything out. The control pad, you know, it doesn't look as good on camera as it does in person. It looks really nice, this colour in person. But anyways, we're going to get to this. I might as well show you what you get inside the box, just in case this is your first time watching one of these videos. So these little plastic bits are for your 20 and these ones are for your 10. These ones are for both. It doesn't make a difference because these go in L1 and R1. So these ones are obviously for your L2 and R2. So like I say, the 10s and these ones are the 20s, just the way they push in. So when you're pressing down, that'll just engage the little buttons. Inside here, you get some spare screws and you get a prying tool, which is the blue one there, and a little Phillips screwdriver. Inside this little bag here, the little sealed bag, just open that. And you'll have your two little sort of ribbon button things. Come on, why won't that one come out? There you go, it's out. Put that one down there and I'll just come a little bit closer just to show you what these look like. I'll just focus on that. So you can see there, that one says L2 and R2 and that one says R1. These, it doesn't make a difference which side you put them on. You can put them on either side, so you don't have to worry getting these mixed up because they're both identical. Put them down there. And the thing what I was going to say is how you can tell the difference of the control pads. So if you look on here, have I got something to point? Give us a second, I'm just grabbing a screwdriver. So if you follow where it says model, and then it's got the little model number along here, and it's got a W on the end. If there's a tiny, tiny little A next to it, that means it's a 20, but obviously this one's a 10. And this code on the bottom, if you follow this along here, mine ends in a 1, so that means it's a 10. If it ends in an A, that means it's a 20. This newer pad, what I've got, the pink one, I don't think I'm going to be able to show you this. I knew it. You can't see. I'm going to have to get me light and shine it on here. If you look where it says model, and you follow the number or the code along here, it's got a tiny little A there. And where it says Sony here, if you look above the N and the Y, there's a little A. I'm going to have to get my phone and turn my light on. Hopefully you can see that. So on the bottom there, where I say it says Sony, if you look below, above the N and the Y, you can see an A. And on the top line there, if I can get this camera light a little bit better, there's a tiny little A. Like I say, I do apologise. This is the worst colour I could have possibly picked to show you, but hopefully you can see what I mean. So that's one of the ways. Turn that light off on my phone and I'm going to zoom out of this. Another way, when I was on eXtremerate, they were saying if you look inside here, get me light again. If you look inside here on the triggers, it kind of goes round or above. I'm going to take a, I'll tell you what, I'll take a screenshot of that and put that on now just to show you what I mean, but I'm not going to go that way. Another way, when you do take these off, you'll see the screws are silver. That means it's a 20 as well. And inside, there's obviously a couple of little different bits. But if you didn't want to take it apart and you just obviously wanted to look on the back, that's the way to tell if it's got the A or it's got the A above. So I'm going to push these to one side. I'm going to put this down here, put that one over there. First thing that you're going to need is your little prying tool. And what you're going to do is you're going to put it in the corner here. So the way I like to get mine is just like that. And then just push it in here. And then that lifts that bit along here, and then I'm just going to work away along this line just until the half side of it comes along, and then exactly the same on this side. Hopefully I'm focused there. I'm going to just put that in a little bit. It was in and then it came out. There we go. And then again, this line, I'm just going to put that in. You could go this way or you can go that way. It doesn't really make a difference as long as you get that out. You're not going to break anything. These you can replace these anyways. You can buy different color ones. You can buy chrome, silver, black, green, any color you want. So once you've removed that, put it to one side. The next thing that you're going to do is remove L1 and R1. The way you do that is get your little prying tool on this angle, which it is. Put it underneath the button. Put your finger on top of the button and just twist left and right. And then that'll remove them. Put that to one side. Same with this one. Just put it under. Go left and right. And that will remove there. Now, as I mentioned, the screws, that's another telltale sign which pad you've got. So if the silver, that means it's a 20. And if the black, that means it's a 10. But if you've got a second-hand pad, someone could have changed the screws. But I'm going to quickly remove these now. So you've got one on the top here, over on the left and on the right. And then if I spin this round, you've got another two on the bottom, on the left and right. So if you bear with us a second, I'm going to quickly remove these. When the 4 screws are removed, the next thing that you're going to do is be removing this back cover. Now the way you do that is get your prying tool again. And if you look down here, you've got 2 tiny little tabs. You've got one there and a one there. All you're going to do is just put this under, lift it up a little bit, but I'm putting a tiny little bit of pressure on this point. I'm kind of pushing it that way so that doesn't clip back down. So if I do that, and then the same with this one, I can feel there, that's lifted up and it's came off them both. So what you're going to do with this now is just put it between there, twist a little bit left and right. You can see it's starting to open here. Do exactly the same on this side. You can see that's starting to open. So hopefully I can just pull this apart just like this. Don't worry, you're not going to break anything. These are the way they come apart. I know that makes a loud noise, but honestly it's nothing to worry about. And then once you've took that off, you can just put this to one side. The next thing that we're going to do is remove the battery. I always like to put my thumb in this side. Keep my other thumb on here. Just lift that up. And then you're gently going to remove this connection here. So I'm just going to wiggle, 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 wiggle. I'm being really gentle. You can be hard, but I wouldn't, because you might, this, with it being so delicate, you might pull the cables out of it. So this just put to one side. And then you've got a tiny little screw which is holding the tray for the battery in here. Or the battery tray, I should say. Just keeping my thumb on top of here as well. Right, there you go, that's removed. And then this, there's 2 ways you can do this. You can either totally pull this off, or you can just lift it up. I'll get my tweezers. You can just lift it up and push it to one side. It's totally up to you which way you want to do it. So all I'm doing is just gently lifting it up, which I have done there. And then this just lifts straight off. And then I've obviously left that screw in there, so I know which is which. And then we're just going to put that to one side. So all my stuff is over here. And the next thing what you're going to do is remove the left ribbon cable, the right one, and the one on the top, and this one down here on the bottom. So like I say, if you've got good grip, you can probably just do this with your fingers, but I'm just going to use the tweezers. So that bottom one is out. Just going to turn that over a little bit. And then the top one, it looks like on the top one now, if I can focus a little bit better, it's got kind of little things what you can grab. So you can go left and right, but I'm just going to use the tweezers again. It's got a little line on this as well, so when you put that back in, you'll see the tiny little white line. You'll know it's lined up. And these should be easy enough. These will just pull straight out. There we go. I'll just bend them over a little bit. Same with this one, because these have got tiny little blue tabs on the side of them there. If you can see there, you can just hold them and just lift them up like so. There we go, we've removed that. Yeah, everything looks good to me. Yeah. The next thing what I'm going to do is remove a screw from over here on the left hand side and a screw on the right hand side. So if you bear with us a second, I'll take these 2 screws out. After you've removed both them screws, you should be able to just lift the board out now. The only thing that might catch is this ribbon cable up here. So just kind of bend that a little bit so it doesn't get in the way, because there's a little hole. And this one down here, I'm just going to hold over with my finger so I don't catch it, the one on the bottom. And then this board should just all lift up like that, and then you can just put the front bit to one side. And then now we are left with this. So what you want to do next is remove these 2 screws on the front, which I'm going to do now. One thing I should have said is when you remove these screws, keep your finger or something on the back of here so this doesn't fall off, because that's the whole idea of this, you're taking it out. And I'm going to put this down here. Now what you want to do next is this little ribbon cable here. You're just going to lift that up. So I'm going to grab my tweezers, and there we go. And then behind here, there's a tiny little screw, which is that one. And then if I flip this over, you've got another 3 screws. Now don't get these ones mixed up because they're smaller than the other ones, so keep these to one side. I've got mine in order over there. I've got my 4 that I took out for the board, the 2 for the top, and then the other 2 for this. So like I say, these 4 screws, just put these to one side. I'm going to quickly remove these now. Like I say, there's this one here, that one there, and on the other side, that one there. When you've removed all them screws, this is a little cover, what comes off. So all you want to do is just take that off and it lifts off like this. And this little tiny piece is just the cog for your haptic feedback. This just goes back and forth and it gives you like your vibration feel. So if you just lift that up and then put this to one side. And then now what you want to do is remove this little metal rod. Like so, take the rod out. And then if you put your finger on here so this cog doesn't fall out, it doesn't really matter about that button, just your cog. So this finger is going to go on the back here. I'm going to remove this, which is R2. And then I'm going to get my tweezers again, and I'm just going to lift this up. I'm going to take that off, the rubber conductor, and then this blue piece here, the little ribbon cable, I'm just going to take out, put it one side, and then I'm going to grab my new one. I'm just going to put it where the old one was, so that's there, and there you go, just like that. That fits in place. I'm going to put this down, and where's my plastic pieces? I should have really snapped these off earlier. So these plastic pieces, all you want to do is just twist them, and they come off. Now, I haven't done these, so I'm going to work out which way that goes in. I presume it goes in that way, does it? Yeah, it goes in that way. So right, I'm going to take that out and do it again. So this piece, hopefully you can see there, that's got the little bit that sticks out. Don't know how well you can see that, but all this does is just goes on top here, and it goes in there, and you just press it down, and there you go. That's what that should look like. Hopefully you can see there. That's what that looks like. I'll do the other side as well and hopefully show you a little bit better, but that's what that looks like. And then I'm going to put my finger back on this cog, turn it around that way. I'm going to put this over here because there's a tiny little latch or plastic piece or whatever it is here. Just going to go over and then line that up with the hole if I can. There we go. I think we're lined up. And then where's my little rod? This hole in here, if you can't see it, you're just going to line that up and you're just going to push that in, and then just press this just to test it. We're not lined up. Hold on. Oh, we're nearly there. Is that it? Yeah. We're there. No, we're not. Are we? Do you know what? I wasn't sure if that was in there. I removed the rod and put it back in. I just wasn't 100%. I think it was just me OCD, but it was. You can see there, it's in place. Where's this bit? So this bit you want to put back on, but the way these cogs work, turn that round, and if you see here on the bottom of the cog, there's a little tiny tooth on the bottom here. That's where you want to put that on. So I'm going to grab this, I'm going to put it on the bottom of there, and then I'm going to put it in the rod, and then I'm going to push that way, just to make sure that moves, which it does. It goes freely, left and right. That's how you want that to be. So I'm going to take that off again and just show you. So the bottom here, there's a tiny little tooth on that cog. You want the bottom piece of this on there like that, and then just put that over there, and like I say, that should go left and right like that. And then you want to put your cover back on, which is that. And then if you want, you can press that again just to make sure it's working. And then we're going to refit them 3 screws, the ones on here and the one on the opposite side. So if you give us a second, I'm going to put them screws in. All 4 of them screws are back in. You can see them 3 there and the one on the other side. And then I'm just going to refit this ribbon cable. Just going to get me tweezers. Hold the corner and I'm just going to put it inside there. Just press it down. You don't have to be too hard. And you can see that's back in place there. And then to refit this, it's just going to be a reverse of the way I took it off. So I'm just going to put it back on here. I'm going to push it down there. Line them holes up. And then just refit the 2 screws, but like I say, make sure them holes are lined up. Put the screws back in. Them 2 screws are fitted. That's what it should look like. And if you want, you can just press it just to make sure it works. We're just going to do the opposite side. So I'm going to put my thumb on my finger, my index finger on the back here, and just hold that. Remove these 2 screws so it doesn't fall. When you do put these screws back in, what I should have said on the other side, just nip them up. So you'll feel when it starts to get tight, and once it does, just don't go any tighter, because obviously you could thread it and it might not tighten again. So I've removed that. I've got them 2 screws down there. I'm going to remove this. And again, exactly the same, just a reverse process of the other side. Get my tweezers. I'm going to pull this little ribbon cable up, if I can get it. This is a little tiny tab bit on the side. Grab it a little bit closer in. There we go. And then again, you've got a little screw here. And you've got the 3 screws on the other side, so I'll quickly remove these again. When all 4 of them screws are removed, just an exact same process of the other side, so remove this cover. Put that at one side, and then this little bit here, like I say, that moves all the way left and right. You want to remove that again. Put that down here, and then this little rod. I'm going to actually put a little bit of tension on top of here, you know, in here, to press it down, so the rod comes out easier, like that. And then finger on this again. So come around here, put my finger on that cog. Then I'm going to remove the L2, take that out. And then the little conductive pad here, I'm going to take out with my tweezers. Put that to one side, and the old little blue ribbon, replace it with the new one. Should just fall into place where it came out of. There we go, that's lined up. I'm just going to put this down. And exactly the same on this, so hopefully I can get a good angle on this. So this piece, you're going to be putting in that way, that's the way it's going in. So hopefully you can see what that looks like. And then this is just going in this way. So I'm putting it on there like that. And then just pressing down. And there we go, that's gone in. Yeah, just make sure that's pressed down. Looks good to me. Yeah. So there, if you can see that, that's what that does look like. And then we're going to put that in here. So remember, over this little bit here, that's got to go under and over. So under and over. And then that little hole where you want your bar to go in, or your rod, whatever you want to call it. That in.
A few moments later.
I finally got it working, as you can see. But it's a way I shouldn't have had to do it. I don't know if I was sending out a faulty kit or something, but I'm going to message EXtremerate and see if I was or not. So I'm going to show you what I had to do to get this working. Take that off again. Take that off again. Take the rod out. So this piece here, don't know if you can see, but I've had to scratch away at it. So that I've just went like this. See if I can get it on the light. On this little bit, I've scratched away because it was like constantly pressing the button. Just make sure that's clean. And I must have took like, well, not even a millimeter, like probably 1/100th of a millimeter or something like that off. Same way again, this underneath, so under and then over, and then just make sure that goes into place. And then the little hole on the back here, where's my rod? Put my little rod in, and then just press it. And you can see that it's working. But like I say, I don't know if I got sent out a faulty kit or something. So if you do get something like this and it's not working, scratch the little bit of that off and use anything. What I was using was, I've got a tiny little knife here, just a little tiny blade, and I was just going scrape, 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 and just took a tiny little bit off. This, I'm going to put back in here. So that cog, you can see there, I'm going to put that on there, and then put that over there. Just a little bit tricky. I see on all my videos, you know, I'm going to buy a new light. This one I've got is just rubbish. So you want to push that back and forth, and that's the way it goes. This cover, just refit that. Squeeze this, and then just press that to make sure it is working. But like I say, I don't know if I got sent out a faulty kit or something. The plastics, I did try a couple of different plastics, you know, on here. So I'm going to put that down. Before I do put this down, you want to fit them screws, the one there, the one there, and the one there, and the other one on the other side. So I'll do that in a second. But these, I did take these off. You can see there, I've tried a couple of different ones. And it's this top bit here. Is it that bit? Yeah. It's that top bit here that I was scraping off. Because like I say, it just seemed a little bit high. And it was touching the button like constantly. So I'm going to put them screws back, and I'll be back in a second. When all them screws are fitted, it should look like that. So you've got these 3 on this side and the last one on this side. And then all you're going to do is just get that little ribbon cable again. I'm going to grab the corner, line it up, and just push it down into place, so it should look like that. And then like I say, just press them again just to make sure it's doing it. I don't agree that you should have to even do something like that, what I've had to do, but it's just if you want to get it working, if you can't be bothered to send a kit back or something and you do want it working, then and there, do what I've just done. But I don't agree that anyone should have to do that. I've never ever had to say anything bad about EXtremerate, but it could just be something to do with the mold. The way I'm going to do this is just a reverse of the way I took it out. So there's a little hole on the bottom here. Just going to put that bit through the bottom, and then line them 2 holes up, and then I'm going to put my screws back in here. When you fit them 2 screws, just press these and just make sure both sides work, which they do. And then now what we're going to do is grab this front piece. Now if this bit down here comes off, I don't know how well you can see that, but that just pushes in there, and then that just kind of clips on there. With my finger, I'm just going to pull this ribbon cable round, and I'm going to hold that with that one. And like I say, this one on the top goes through the little slot, so just be careful you don't get it stuck. So luckily mine's gone through. Maybe bend it a little bit. Then this bit on the bottom is caught, you can see this, so I'm just going to lift that up a tiny little bit. Get it round here and push over, just make sure that hasn't come off there. Press down, just have a little look. Yeah, everything looks good, that looks good, that looks good. Yeah, and that's how that should look. And then all we're going to do is put that screw over there and the one over there. When you fit them 2 screws, the next thing that you want to do is just start and fit your ribbon cables that you originally took off. So I'm going to start with this top one. Line it up, make sure it's in place, and then just press it down. As I mentioned, that one's got a little white line that goes across it. So when I press this down, the white line should go down with it, which it has. You can see there it's kind of disappeared. And then I'm going to start with this bottom one down here. And there we'll have it, that one's in place. Now these 2 might be your little tricky ones. So I'm going to start with the left hand side one. Make sure it lines up. And then we'll have it, that one's in. These ones have got little lines as well. There's a black line on the bottom and a black line on the top. And then this one is exactly the same. This has got lines. So I'm just going to line that up, press it down, and there we go, that's back in place. The next thing that we're going to do is grab the battery tray. I'm going to put this here, but remember there's this ribbon cable, so I'm going to maneuver that round if I can. Have I done it? Have I done it? Move that up, move that round. There we go. And then if this little rubber piece comes off here, all it does is just pushes back on. It just simply comes off and comes back on. And then when you do get it off, just put it on there, and then that goes in. I don't know how well you can see that on the camera. If I focus a little bit better, you see that? So like I say, if this rubber piece comes off, it just kind of goes like that and it just slides on. So I'm going to put this screw in. Should only take 2 seconds. And then there, I feel that's tight, so I'm not going to tighten it up anymore. Whoa, sorry, hit the camera there, didn't mean to do that. Next thing is going to be the connection. Push that in, and then just put the wire underneath there, and then that goes like that. Then we've got the back cover. The way you're going to do that is go from the top, so push it on the top and then push it on the bottom. So there, that's going over there. Make sure it goes in, and then press the top. And then, hold on, I didn't get that right. There we go, top and then bottom, and it should all snap into place. Just have a little look round, just make sure them little tabs on the bottom have snapped into place, which they have. And then now what we're going to do is just put them last 4 screws in on the top and on the bottom, and there we'll have it. Them screws are back in. The next thing is you're going to grab L1 and R1, and on here there's tiny little holes on the top. You can see there, tiny little holes. So all you're going to do is grab your little plastic pieces, just twist these ones off, put that one down there, twist this one off, put it down there, and you're just going to get these tiny little plastic pieces. If I can focus, you're going to get them tiny little plastic pieces and you're just going to put them in the hole, and then just press down and make sure they go flush. I'm going to use me little pair of tweezers to make them go down a little bit further. Same with this side, the little hole on the top there, just going to put that in. So that's what it does look like there. Hopefully you can't see that. And then like I say, I'm just using the top of my tweezers to press it down to make it flush or flat, whatever you call it. And then that's how it should be. It's as good as I'm going to get. That one's not quite down as far as I want it. There we go, that one's down. And then all we're going to do is just replace these. So that one is L1 and that one's going to go on that side. So the way these go is just the way they came out. They just popped off. You just press them back in. Make sure they go on the runners or the lines, whatever they're called. Press it down and they snap into place. You can see there. Grab this one, put that back in, and then just press down. And then just press these buttons if you want, just to test them. And then the final part of the puzzle is this piece, and you're going to replace that. The way I always do it is I put it in the two holes here. See if I can get it first time, and then just push up like so, and then press down. Pop that over there. Pop that over there. Make sure that's snapped into there. Then we'll go, and everything looks good to me. That's what it looks like. And that's them buttons, and that's them fitted. Like I say, I did come into a little bit of an issue with them, and I sort of scraped a little bit off to get them working, which I shouldn't have had to do, but if you do want to get them working, that's the thing. As always, thank you for watching the video, and if you get stuck with anything, just drop us a message and I'll always get back to you.